In a turn of events that no one could have predicted, Sam Bankman-Fried got arrested. The specifics behind his arrest are still unclear, but we do know that the timing makes no sense. Why would the government arrest SBF after such a long time? Why did they wait for so long between all the allegations? These are the questions on everyone's mind today. Let's take a closer look at what may have happened. Hello, and welcome to our channel, Businessville. Before starting our video, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell for more amazing content. The arrest, Sam Bankman-Fried, also known as SBF, was the former CEO of the huge cryptocurrency company FTX. He was recently arrested in the Bahamas and is being held in a Bahamian jail until he can be sent back to the US. In an indictment that was made public on 13 December, SBF was accused of mail and wire fraud, laundering money, and other crimes related to a scheme that cost billions of dollars. If he is found guilty on all charges, he could get a sentence like the 150 years that Bernie Madoff got for his well-known Ponzi scheme. Even though many people wanted SBF to be jailed right away, the Justice Department didn't have him arrested in the Bahamas for weeks. The DOJ took its time for 3 reasons. The DOJ allowed SBF to continue speaking and further incriminate himself. The first rule of being investigated by law enforcement is to remain silent. From the moment FTX melted, SBF consistently broke rule number 1. He made public statements via Twitter. He participated in an interview with the New York Times. His words prompted FTX's bankruptcy attorneys to warn publicly that he was damaging the company's chances of escaping bankruptcy. When he spoke, SBF did enormous harm to himself, particularly his reputation. An indictment that satisfied the Bahamas extradition treaty required great care. Getting SBF arrested in the Bahamas took more work than getting him arrested in the United States. The United States and the Bahamas have a treaty on extradition. Under that treaty, a person can be arrested in the Bahamas and sent back to the United States for an offense that is punishable under the laws of both contracting states by deprivation of liberty for more than 1 year or by a more severe penalty. So the DOJ had to make sure that any crime SBF was accused of was also a crime under the laws of the Bahamas and the United States. Also, the charge that was used to get SBF sent back from the Bahamas limits the crimes for which he can be tried in the future. A person extradited under this treaty can only be held, tried, or punished in the requesting state for the crime for which extradition was granted. So, the DOJ won't be able to charge SBF with different crimes if new information shows that SBF did commit those crimes. The DOJ likely had an arrest warrant should SBF have returned to the US, even though the DOJ was happy to let SBF hurt himself while he was hiding out in the Bahamas. They were almost certainly ready to arrest him based on a sealed complaint or indictment if he had been so stupid as to come back to the US. If SBF had arrived at any US airport or port, he would have been taken into custody. If SBF had been arrested on US soil, the DOJ would have known that they could arrest them right away and issue a new indictment later. Because of all of these things, the DOJ was happy to wait a few weeks after FTX didn't turn himself in to build its case before asking for extradition. Regarding SBF, he is presented with nothing but undesirable possibilities. If SBF attempts to fight extradition, he will be confined to a horrible Bahamian prison until he is sent to the United States. The US-Bahamas Treaty allows SBF to fight extradition in Bahamian courts. This may take months or even years. For instance, Julian Assange has been fighting extradition from the United Kingdom to the United States for almost 5 years. But if he fights extradition, SBF will spend the entire sentence in prison in the Bahamas. If SBF insists on a trial, he will be locked up in a New York City jail for more than a year. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, which is in Manhattan, has charged SBF. If SBF decides to go to trial, he will be held in either the Metropolitan Correction Center, Manhattan, or the Metropolitan Detention Center, Brooklyn, until this trial. If SBF enters a guilty plea, he will be sentenced to significant time in prison. The federal sentencing guidelines, which establish a recommended, but not mandatory, punishment for the fraud, and money laundering violations that SBF faces are essentially determined by the amount of loss. Any loss in excess of $550 million propels a defendant to the top of the list, and SBF is accused of cheating investors out of billions of dollars. When the guidelines offense level for SBF is combined with likely adjustments for more than minimal planning, more than 25 victims, acting as an organizer or leader of the criminal enterprise, using sophisticated means, and conducting a criminal enterprise from abroad, the guidelines offense level for SBF will likely be far above 43 points. However, 43 is the maximum value on the scale. The only guideline sentence at this level is life. Sam Bankman-Fried will likely face major legal consequences for his actions, but it's unclear what those will be. What are your thoughts on the whole FTX and SBF matter? Let us know in the comments. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your time. We'll see you later.